All right. So let us begin the September 10th, 2025 regular meeting of the Santa Monica Disabilities Commission. As always, first thing is members' roll call. So please answer aye. Commissioner Adeyemi? Yeah. Commissioner Antonini? Not present. Commissioner Asaria?
Here.
Commissioner Clark?
Aye.
Commissioner Cosmea Dodge?
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Frames? Not present. Commissioner Gordon?
Here.
Commissioner Royal?
Present.
Myself, Vice Chair, is here, and Chair Elliott will not be here this evening. So moving on to the agenda, which, well, first off would be public input. And please note that Commissioner Antonini is present as well. Thank you. So item one is public input. Is there any public input? Not seeing any. We can move on to item two, special agenda items, consent calendar. Do we have anything to discuss on that?
We do have special agenda item public input. Both are printed out in front of you here, came from two different commissions today. Not commissions, but the Santa Monica Garden Association, as well as another association in relation to the special agenda item presentation regarding the vision plan that Tony will be taking us through today.
Okay, so we received this today,
Yes,
correct?
it's public comment.
All right. Does anyone wish to have any comments on this? If not, we can move on. I'm not sure I have read it. Is that proper? Comments give the okay. So moving on to item number three, which of course is a very sad way to start a meeting. Was it last month? I think there was a lot of discussion on Commissioner Sussman, and obviously he had been of ill health and he wasn't there, and subsequently we found out that he passed. And I think our Chair Elliott wrote up a little summary here, and I'd just sort of like to read that into the records here. I believe also the City Council last night recognized Commissioner Sussman for his service as well. Is that correct?
Yes, and they also read the same statement at the end of the meeting last night.
Very good. This is from Chair Elliott. The Honorable Commissioner Matthew Sussman served on the Disability Commission for 4 years and 2 terms as the Vice Chair. Matthew was a fierce advocate for increasing behavioral health and housing support for everyone in Santa Monica from the cradle to the grave. Matthew advocated for hiring a full-time ADA coordinator, an accessible space for commission meetings, and ensuring technology works for people with disabilities. In the final months, Matthew carried his oxygen tank, as we all recall here, across the city to meetings so the commission could meet quorum and conduct critical official business for the disability community. And we all should thank him. I know it was a real challenge for him to come, and at times he was worried about how much oxygen he had left in these meetings, and so that was a real commitment on his part. Matthew had the bravery to speak up. He refused to be quiet in the face of ableism. He spoke authentically and directly, whether the person was the mayor or without a home. Matthew spoke from the heart, even when it came from the hip. I think it was an honor for all of us to serve with Matthew Sussman on the Disabilities Commission, and we are grateful for his contributions to the Santa Monica community. So rest in peace, Commissioner Sussman. You'll be missed, and thank you for your years of advocacy for the community in Santa Monica. Would anyone like to make a comment or special notice on Commissioner Sussman?
Commissioner Gordon, amen to that. And also, he was a veteran. He served our nation with honor and distinction. And I want to thank also Mr. Philbin Thomas for following through, because we didn't know what happened to him. I don't know if we're allowed to ask about details or to find out when it happened at all, or how we could.
Probably be public, and that would,
Oh, and he did have a friend. It would be kind of nice if we could make something, a proclamation up, but I didn't really know him long enough. You guys knew him longer. So there was a friend that would show up sometimes to the meetings with him. I don't know if you guys knew him, at least to be able to present that, something to his friend. If we could look into that, that would, I just feel this need to do that. And, okay. And
thank you,
if we could work on that somehow and I could help in some way.
thank you. Anyone else have a comment they'd like to share?
I don't have too many words, but it was a real honor to serve with him. As he was the vice chair when I was chair, and so I had the privilege of talking with him on the phone, many times before our meetings, and he was very passionate about this.
Thank you, Commissioner Antonini. Anyone else have any comments? Commissioner Arias.
Yes, indeed. Matthew was a good friend of mine. Aside being fellow commissioner, occasionally we would talk on the phone, and I would ask him if anything I can do to help him get here. A couple of times I have given him a ride to get here, but the sad thing is that I don't want to make too many disclosures because this is privileged information. But it's sad he waited for a long time for a loan to be provided. And one was provided, then they wouldn't give it to him because he has to have a family to take care of him. And that is very, very sad. We are advocates here, and we should be pressing for action to be taken on things like this. Thank you.
I'd like to add, and thank you very much, Commissioner Solomon. I agree. That was UCLA that told him that, which is probably about as callous as you can get. I had his number. Again, I didn't know him that long, but I would have been there for him. I didn't know that UCLA had told him that. Solomon told me that afterwards, and that's appalling because I could have at least been there. So I did everything I could, but yeah, that'd be cool. If there's ever a need, I don't know if we'd be here for each other, but I just feel really bad like that. He was told that.
Commissioner Soria.
Hi, just wanted to thank everyone for thinking of him. And I remember he used to sit next to me, and he was just fearless in advocating community disability, and I just admired his work and courage. Thank you.
All right, well, he will be missed, and it was great that the city council recognized him last night and all his years of contribution, and so let's keep him in our hearts and mind and his fierce advocacy. He definitely was passionate about a lot, and you had the ability to work with him very closely, Commissioner Antonini, on that, so we thank him. Moving on to the next item, it's a swearing in. All right. Teresa Clark I believe I have the oath or affirmation, and you will read after me. And do you raise your right hand or anything like that? I don't know. No. Yeah, okay. So, no, it's not a... Okay, so I, Teresa R. Clark,
I, Teresa R. Clark,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm as the case may be
or affirm as the case may be
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the Disabilities Commission
the duties of the Disabilities Commission
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
All right, thank you and welcome aboard. We look forward to all your great contributions in the years to come. You just signed up for 4 years. This will be filled out and I believe handed, is that correct, to her or to the city or?
Yeah, we'll fill it out at the end and I'll take it.
Okay. Very good. So to our featured presentation this evening, we have Tony Lopez from the senior park planner of the city of Santa Monica to go over the 7 years of work that has gone into this. I know you're probably going to cover it in your presentation, but one of the things that maybe you can frame this by how what you're doing fits into what the city does. So we can, when we hear what's going on, we can better analyze or understand what input we can provide.
Definitely, we'll do that.
Thank you.
Good evening, commissioners. Thank you for having me today. Again, my name is Tony Lopez. I am the city's senior park planner. I am responsible for the overall park network and planning of park acquisition, expansion, improvements, all in the face of expanding our park network and making improvements to align with our city's overall vision and alignment with sustainability goals. A little bit of background to me. I come from practicing in the field of landscape architecture as a landscape designer for 18 years within Los Angeles County, working on local international projects from design all the way through construction. I started with the city in April of last year with the primary focus of bringing the Parks and Rec Master Plan, now known as the Parks and Recreation Vision Plan, to the finish line. So that's what I'm here today to present on. Again, just a little update on the vision plan to date. So we did it. Currently, the city has one adopted Parks and Rec master plan, and that was adopted in 1997. The update to the Parks and Recreation master plan started in 2018. In 2018, there was a lot of steps to get to a master plan draft. In 2018, the outreach started. 2 drafts were prepared, and in March of 2020, that final draft was set to be presented to the Recreation and Parks Commission, but unfortunately, we know what happened in March of 2020. The COVID-19 pandemic hit, the project went on pause, and there was some redistribution, or how do you say, reorganization of the department and division, such that at that time, the senior park planner went away. So the process of updating the Parks and Recreation, now the vision plan, was on hold until I came on board in April of 2024. Who uses the Parks and Recreation Vision Plan? The community will use the Parks and Rec Vision Plan as a way to understand open space opportunities within their neighborhoods. Planners use the vision plan to evaluate potential to amplify complete neighborhoods. Architects and consultants use it to understand and create comprehensive solutions to projects within the city. And boards and commissions will use it to further evaluate and calibrate the impacts of development on the system of parks within Santa Monica. From the beginning of this process that restarted in 2024, the idea was to make the vision plan user-friendly. The plan itself is set up in terms of an introduction, 4 primary chapters of vision and network, community voices, actions and implementation, a conclusion, appendices that support the facts and recommendations within the plan, and companion narratives that are sprinkled throughout the document that reinforce aspects of the vision plan that are related to the parks and the network and how we maintain those parks. So what is the vision? In short, in the link that was distributed as part of the agenda, there is the overall Parks and Recreation Vision Plan, which has a more robust narrative as to the vision. But in short, the vision is city as habitat. A vision for nourishing habitat for people, plants, animals, and program, continuing the city's commitment in striving to prevent harm to the natural environment and human health. A vision that addresses community open space need through acquisition, expansion, and improvements, enhancing resilience and reinforcing sustainability initiatives. In general, the goals are to enable open space to grow with the city. We know the city continues to expand, but what we've heard in the most recent outreach as part of this process is that the parks aren't growing in concert with the growth of the city. We want to position the city to respond quickly and responsibly. That's what the vision plan will do. It's an actionable plan so that when grant opportunities present themselves, we know what we want to do and have the ability to provide a plan and a vision of how we get there. We want to act in support of water self-sufficiency, zero waste, and carbon neutrality. We want to maintain an open dialogue with the community on nature advocacy and reaffirm the Sustainable Rights Ordinance. The difference between this vision plan and the 1997 plan is that this one has actions in it. This plan does not stop today. The plan has opportunities to integrate and continue the dialogue with the community boards and commissions on the elements within the plan, such that there isn't a gap in understanding of what's going on with our park network. What we wanted to ensure was that there's always a conversation about parks and what we can do to improve them. I just wanted to give a little bit of a background to our park network as it is today. We have about 144 park acres. That equates to about 1.55 acres per 1,000 residents. In 2016, LA County conducted a countywide assessment of parks and recreation facilities and acreage. And that assessment determined that there are approximately 3.3 acres per 1,000 residents on average in the county. So with Santa Monica being currently at 1.55, we're about half the county average. Now that average isn't a goal that is set up by the county, it's just math, it's just the average. In 2022, the county did a needs assessment plus, which looked more closely at regional and rural recreation. Within that study, it was determined that there are neighborhoods within Santa Monica that require regional recreational improvements. What we've been calling this plan is a little bit of a look forward from 144. This vision champions increased biodiversity, urban forest, methods to combat climate change, open space to serve growing need, and educational, cultural, recreation, and art spaces and supporting program through acquisition, expansion, and improvements. Within the plan, when I came on board with the city, I put it upon myself to read every report, adopted plan, anything that I could get my hands on in terms of what the city is made up of. What I found in that assessment is that there were a lot of different numbers out there. There was a lot of different elements of the park system that said one thing in one report, they said another in another. So what we really wanted this report to do, or this plan to do, was be a hub for all the information related to parks. So this inventory incorporated within the document gives us a baseline in 2025 of what we have and potential to expand internally based on the amenities that we currently have now. Again, this process started in 2018 and 2019. During that time, there was about 2,000 participants who engaged in that assessment of the parks and recreation facilities we offered. In this process, we determined that there was a missing piece, and that was understanding what exactly is our acreage need, what exactly is our amenity need based on our population. And so in spring of 2025, we conducted the Community Recreation and Arts Needs Assessment. That assessment confirmed three things: that we need more park acreage, that we need more park amenities, and that the city loves the network program. That survey had two sub-surveys. There was a targeted demographic survey that required 250 participants to be demographically accurate. We received 418, which is great. Then there was a general survey, which received over 200 participants. That survey highlighted that 96% of respondents visit parks, arts, or recreation facilities in Santa Monica in a typical year. That's well above the national average of 81%. Additionally, 49% of respondents participate in a city program or event each year, and nationally, the average is 36%. Some top priorities that came out of that assessment is more walking loops and trails, community parks, a large regional park, aquatics facility, community gardens, pocket parks, and neighborhood parks. So the question before us today when it comes to the vision plan In 1997, the Parks and Recreation Master Plan recommended a target growth of park acreage from 112.7 park acres, which is what the current acreage was in 1997, to a range of 143.8 to 170 acres. So if you recall the network refresher I just gave, we're at 144. So we just hit the mark. So what we're asking in this public outreach as part of this draft review is, what goal does the community want to establish for this plan related to the future growth of the City of Santa Monica's park acreage and park amenities? I am the senior park planner, but I cannot make that decision. You've probably heard a lot of voices from the community say, we need this many acres, we need these amenities. I think last Friday I got about over 100 emails about pickleball. So we know that there are certain amenities that rise above. But what's important to consider is that we have to maintain this dialogue consistently. We cannot just say we need this without evaluating what we need, because we need to be sure to track the trends and make sure that we're making responsible decisions fiscally and responsibly for what our park will grow into. So just some considerations when it comes to answering that question. Again, we have 1.55 acres per 1,000 residents. The county in their 2016 assessment has classified Santa Monica as quote unquote moderate. And that classification is based on park acreage, population, and distance to parks. This classification is important because though we are moderate holistically, there are many neighborhoods within the city that are high need or very high need when it comes to actual parks. The county average, again, is an average. And when they calculate the county average, the beach is not included because not all cities within Los Angeles have a beach to lean on when it comes to recreation. In 2025, the NRPA recommended 6 to 10 park acres per 1,000 for a city the size of 100,000 to 250,000 people. This assessment internally, when it comes to the city of Santa Monica, we based our current acreage on the 2020 census, which was about 93,000 people. But it's important to consider that on a daily basis, based on the city of Santa Monica website, we have about 250 daytime visitors. So that range is something to consider when we're not only providing park acreage for the population who live in Santa Monica, but we are a regional destination city, so we have to consider the influence that all of those people have when they come to Santa Monica and the impact it has on our parks. Another element to consider is that common planning standard is about 5 acres per 1,000. The NRPA also notes that though 6 to 10 park acres per 1,000 is a recommendation, park and recreation agencies are as diverse as the communities they serve. What works well for one agency may not be the best for all. And as I mentioned, we have to continue this dialogue to understand what our needs are and tailor our needs to the community. Again, in the vision plan, you'll see a placeholder table. When trying to determine what our need is, we just use the baseline 3.3 acres to understand. To meet the county average, we need 134 additional acres right now. Projecting 5 years, projecting the population 5 years from now, we need 165 additional acres. Now, my recommendation is that we target a number beyond our foreseeable future and we try to exceed that average. Because what we want to do is provide enough buffer that we know that we don't want to hit that average and say we're done. We want to be able to target something beyond that with the understanding that in the foreseeable future, with projects that are coming online, we might get close to that average. But if we can move beyond that, it'll mean that if we look at the NRPA recommendations and we add our beach, which is 202.9 acres, we will get in that nice range that is recommended by the National Recreations and Parks. Again, the responsibility doesn't end in 2025. We need to monitor recreation art program trends, be advocates for the vision, and amplify the relationship between the community and the environment so improvements complement and align with adopted initiatives. So how do we realize the vision? The vision itself is set up with 8 principles, validated by 5 strategies, and 32 comprehensive actions within the plan. Those 8 principles are nourish existing parks and park facilities, expand new parkland and open space, raise new park facilities, ideate the Santa Monica State Beach, connect open space in the community, gather recreation and arts programming, sustain parks and facilities sustainability and maintenance, and support funding and meaningful partnerships. At a glance, these are the 8 strategies with the 32 supporting actions. And generally, the document is set up such as this, that each action has a narrative that supports that action, and you'll see a list with little checkboxes next to it. These are the actionable recommendations that are part of this continued dialogue. Opportunities for myself and the Public Works team to engage with the community and present new ideas and bring new ideas forth and have a system of accountability with this vision plan so that there isn't a presentation in 25 years from now and we don't know what happened between now and then. We want to make sure this conversation continues. At a glance, though there are 32 actions, all those recommendations, there's over 100 of them. But what I did today was I pulled a few that might kind of create some dialogue here. Action 1.2.6, expedite the continued integration of inclusive amenities within parks as existing equipment reaches the end of its lifespan. Action 3.3, Santa Monica Play Destination should continue to integrate inclusive strategies, promoting an environment that enhances equity for children and adults of all abilities and nurturing physical, cognitive, emotional, and social development. Action 5.1.1, continue to provide safe routes to parks, prioritizing bicycle and pedestrian improvements on routes near parks. This is very much in line with what was just presented last night, the Santa Monica Aging and Disabilities Action Plan. Action 5.2.1, study feasibility of increasing accessible access from the Santa Monica Pier to the beach trail. Action 5.2.4, add more walkways and inclusive amenities and furnishings on an ongoing basis, continuing to provide access to the water's edge for people of all abilities across the length of the Santa Monica State Beach coastline. And Action 7.4, create a landscape vision plan. This is something I've already started to work on in collaboration with Blake and also the Public Landscape Division. The Landscape Vision Plan is a document that speaks to operations, maintenance, performance standards, and generally amenities, material selections, minimum requirements, all elements that affect the environment that we inhabit, such that we are able to create a comprehensive, cohesive design plan for all of our parks so that there are inclusive and equitable distribution of amenities throughout and the ability for everyone to access the amenities appropriately. Now, one thing about new parks is that we have existing parks and we have to maintain those too. Part of the appendix within the document is the existing amenities and components action matrix. Over the last 2 years, the Public Works Department has conducted a conditions assessment of our existing parks and park facilities, and we've established 5, 10, and 20-year work plans associated with maintaining those existing amenities. 5-year work plan is a $40 million plus endeavor. 10 years, about 23 and change million, and the 20-year work plan is about 20 million. Now, if we don't maintain elements within the 5-year work plan, those dollar amounts just carry over to the 10-year work plan. And if we don't take care of those, they carry over to the 20-year work plan. So those amounts become exponential if we're not advocates for our park system and, essentially promote that we need money dedicated to parks. So what's next? When it comes to the vision plan, we want to use this document to define projects. We want to reference the vision and validate the project process utilizing the vision. Once we implement the project, we want to validate its outcome and operations against this vision to ensure that we are successful and in alignment with this City as Habitat goal. And of course, in terms of accountability, we want to report and establish a new benchmark once we finish a project to understand how we have aligned and how we can further enhance future projects when it's related to this vision. I described the foreseeable future. Memorial Park Expansion Project is currently in schematic design. I'm sure many of you have participated participated in the airport conversion planning process, those are our foreseeable future. Those foreseeable future create opportunities to get us really, really close to that county average. And again, foreseeable. This is a 20 to 25-year vision plan. We want to look beyond that, which is why is my suggestion that as a community, we look to reach beyond that average to a goal that when we add that beach, we kind of get into that sweet spot as recommended by the National Rec and Parks Association. Again, those goals are to enable open space to grow with the city, position the city to respond quickly to opportunities, support sustainability initiatives, maintain open dialogue with the community, and reaffirm the Sustainable Rights Ordinance. Next steps, tonight I am here with you all today, and I will be running over to Urban Forest, who meets bi-monthly tonight at 7:30 to present. And the goal is that on October 28th of this year, we will present this plan to City Council with the hopes of adoption. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Tony. I guess you have to run soon, is that correct? All right. If I may, I have a couple questions.
Yes.
To start with. You got there at the end, talked a lot about acreage per person, and that's all great goals. But I would say generally, our focus here is on acreage that's accessible to our community, whether it's hard of hearing, physical challenges, or any of the myriad that exists. So you got there at the end, there were a few points. Hey, let's do inclusive, inclusive, inclusive. On your 300-page master document, are there actual examples or best practices that other cities are utilizing so that when you read those words, they actually mean something? There's some benchmark to go off of.
The examples and best practices within this plan, no. The intent is that those will be rolled into the landscape vision plan because those will be more of a sort of design guidelines, if you will, of how to successfully implement these items.
Yeah, I have a concern to say inclusion and accessibility. If you're not closely aligned with the community, it's really hard to know what that means. And everybody's, it's a diverse. So, I mean, for me personally, I would ask you consider, are there ways to strengthen that so that that momentum heads towards creating those ideas and opportunities for everybody? And then, and the Great Park would and then you mentioned the Great Park, and that would pretty much get close to, I don't know what the latest revision out there is, but under the current planning, I don't know, are we still having 4 options, or is it advanced beyond that?
It has. I'm on that project team, and it has not advanced beyond that yet. With the onboarding of the new city manager, we're in a scheduling kind of thing right now. But yes, where we last left off, there were 3 different iterations of, and we were instructed to move forward with a plan that is in alignment with Measure LC. And so once we know the new schedule, then there will be another robust outreach, a simpler survey. But yes. Okay,
but obviously the Great Park would add a lot to reaching a goal of
yes.
5 acres
and as
per
I mentioned,
thousand.
We need an additional 134 acres now to just meet the average. The airport itself is in whole 192 acres, but with the maintaining existing leases, those areas do have acreage associated with them. So that is a foreseeable number when you take 192 and then take out all that other stuff. We're in that ballpark.
For those who are physically handicapped, there is a challenge because open space is not necessarily, the beach may have hundreds of acres, but the amount that's actually accessible in any standard or usable fashion is very little for those who are in wheelchairs or other sort of mobility devices. So open space is a great concept, but access to all aspects of the park within reason is also, I think, extremely important for our community at large. So there's just some, it's open space great, but is it accessible? Not everything can be, and not everything will be, but there should be some thought put into how to access a good part of the park, a good part of what's being created. So with that, I'll turn over any questions.
This is 7 years later. And things have been changed so much. The first page says City of Santa Monica Disabilities Commission, and the accessibility doesn't come until towards the last page. So I was just kind of concerned while going through the whole presentation. This should have been a little bit earlier.
Okay.
Because inclusion and accessibility is just really important. And I feel that, what did you say? The survey was done like 7 years ago, right?
The first round of outreach was in 2018, 2019, and then in spring of this year, we did the other survey it was roughly mid-April through May.
And then the response was?
The response in that survey gave us an understanding of where the community's priorities were in terms of the open space and the amenities and the types of program that are currently offered within the city, where they wanted increases in certain types of program, certain types of amenities, but also gave us an understanding of our need relative to types of amenities based on the data of our population and our current inventory.
When these surveys go out, do they include the people with special needs to answer to those to the questions? See, if they can focus on their needs and think about what could be the future needs of those who have special needs.
In terms of I can check on that, but to answer your question, it went out as a demographic survey without that level of specificity, but I understand where you're coming from, and that's something that we are addressing in the community outreach aspect of this plan, and something I could definitely add to that layer of how community outreach is conducted in the future of projects.
Thank you.
Commissioner Ariami?
Yes. Thank you for coming to see us. I'm in the area of the airport conversion. That's my neighborhood, the 25th Street and Ocean Park. And out of the 192 acres available in that area, how many acres will be devoted to expanding the Ocean Park, if you have any idea? Because you talk about growing acreage.
Mm-hmm.
How do you grow acreage? It's not as if you can manufacture acreage. So how do you grow acreage?
So if we use the example of the airport conversion project, that project in of itself, let's just call it the 192 acres as a whole. Currently, it is an active airport, so it is not counted as park space. And I hope I'm answering your question and how I'm wording this, such that yes, it is planned to be a park, but until that happens, it is not a park. And so when it comes to expansion, once portions of the airport start to come online as park, then the acreage number as part of our whole network starts to go up. Does that answer your question?
Somewhat.
How can I better answer that?
Well, you give your best shot because this is futuristic.
Yeah.
And everything is in the air,
Exactly.
So you don't know.
They're planned projects, and it's again planned. And so unless something changes, then we cannot count them as park. And which is why I say until they come online, we can't count them, which is what we didn't do. We didn't count them assuming they would come online. We anticipate that they're planned and they will come online.
Thank you.
Commissioner Ariami, you specifically mentioned Clover Park. You referred to that on Ocean Park, right?
Yes.
So was there something specific to that park that you were curious about as opposed to a general idea?
Exactly. Because,
Okay.
well,
I see.
Well, that's why I said somewhat, because again, you don't have all the information for the future.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
But how much of that 192 acres will be devoted to parks, to increasing the parks there already?
I see. So at this moment in time, because we've only gone as far as the 3 preferred scenarios and we haven't begun work on a preferred scenario based on council direction, we don't know yet. And so how much of that 192 will be dedicated to park or tie into Clover Park or tie into Airport Park, we don't know yet.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioner Cosme Dodge?
Yeah, I would like to emphasize what Commissioner Asaria was talking about and how important it is to make sure that all this prospective acreage is accessible. And I thought, well, why not make something concrete suggestion in the plan? We have all this excess acreage in our wonderful, huge beaches that are not accessible to people with wheelchairs, and we can easily bring that average up by, you know, some ramps. That would be wonderful. I mean, you know, never mind some more wheelchairs that you can, you know, that you can use when handicapped people go to the beach. I mean, those kind of things, definitely something concrete. I understand everything's being planned and all that, but I do feel that it would help to have concrete suggestions mixed in there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, maybe just one comment too from me. I was glad to see, I think, action 5.1.1, which was talking about, you know, sort of the routes to the parks, because it's, I think, also important to consider not just the accessibility of, you know, the park itself, like what is happening within the borders of the park, but, you know, the environment around the park as well, how you get to the park, and making sure that all that is accessible as well. Because it seems that, you know, one of the, you know, failure modes you can have, especially with the Great Park proposal, is that, you know, it's this very large site, but surrounded by, you know, very low density housing. And so, you know, it's great if you happen to, you know, be one of the lucky people who lives in a, you know, $3 million homes who, you know, can have this great park in your backyard. But, you know, that sort of thing restricts the accessibility to, you know, the broader population.
Right, thank you.
And of course, you know, that's outside your remit. You know, that's maybe more of a comment for city council, but, you know, since your remit is strictly within, I presume, the borders of the park, but nevertheless, something to keep in mind.
Thank you.
And Joe, add to that, they could make a concrete suggestion of coordinating with Big Blue Bus to make sure that there are always, you know, Big Blue Bus, I mean, a Big Blue Bus for wheelchair is the most accessible transport there is, the most reliable, and, you know, so it'd be important when they're, in the future, when they're designing these things, if they realize they can see of how they can design them in coordination with
Oh,
people.
I see.
Get people.
I see.
Yeah, that's a great point.
But I figured my voice was loud enough.
Commissioner Royal?
Yes, thank you very much for presentation. I just like to suggest like small things, because we living in California, it's always sunny. So that will be maybe helpful for people to have some sort of shades in a park, for example, like planted specific trees which make like shades, because as I'm paying attention, there is like good parks with walking areas. You can walk, but it's basically you exposing yourself to, yeah, I mean, we can go to beach if we like to tan. So, but, and I really hope that that airport conversion will be kind of like people will be choosing the park instead of like all other option, because the airport itself, it's 102 years old. Mm-hmm. And people have to understand how much the soil is poisoned during that usage by aircraft. So, and somebody have to explain people that, for example, building like housing there, it's not probably a good option for that specific time. The soul need to kind of like rest a little bit. So, and we always can build more housing, but we cannot really kind of like get rid of buildings and build park. So that's another point to keep in mind when people like talking about that airport conversion, I think. So
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Commissioner Antonini?
Just one more quick clarifying question. On the county average of parks, does that include like the state parks in LA County, or is it just like municipal parks? Okay.
No, I just recently looked at that example because of the area where I live in Los Angeles. As an example, Kenneth Hahn, really big regional park. The area immediately adjacent is still very high need because they can't take into account the I guess the luck they have of being next to that state park. So it's all determined on like their individual parks, not the regional destination parks.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So, Commissioner Saria, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if does preparing for global warming, is there any other steps that are included in this, like planting more trees for shades or something like that? Because otherwise, when it's extreme heat, the park will be not, no one.
Yes, and I know the link I sent, I think it's in the agenda, is the link to the whole plan. And you mentioned 200 plus, sorry about that, but it's a lot of information. There's specific recommendations within there that relate back to the urban forest master plan and the increase in biodiversity, shade, and alignment with, I know the urban forest master plan calls for an increase of 5% of urban forest canopy with new projects. So that is all kind of cross-pollinating in there.
Thank you.
So going back to sort of the initial question I had of the report, how much of it has any mention of persons with disabilities or any reference to it?
Well, in terms of, are you talking specific disabilities? We did
No,
not,
just the concept of.
the concept of. So outside, there are a few more specific recommendations within the overall actions. So actions related to expanding parks, as an example, is ensure accessibility and inclusive features are part of that, kind of attaining that goal. And so with respect to a more deliberate, like what was mentioned about examples of, those are not in there.
This is a foundational report. As you mentioned, there is another report that's going to come, landscape planning. The next steps will be based on the first step. And if the first step is not adequately calling out the need to provide parks that are accessible to our community, then the next steps won't, and the next step, and the next step, and it'll be a few bullet points. This is the opportunity to at least, you even mentioned the canopy going back to, you devoted time to a canopy in shade. Great, but I don't know if adequate time was also put in there. I haven't seen the whole report, but based upon what we heard tonight, enough of accessibility, inclusion, other than the bullet points that this is a great thing to have. I think it's a missed opportunity, and I would assume I'm speaking on behalf of most of the commission here, that it's sorely needed, and if you have an opportunity to include more in there, I think that would be extremely helpful.
How, what I'd like to do is, so as I mentioned, it's part of other actions. And I think what I'm hearing is that a more deliberate forward action, like rather than being recommendations within actions, have it be its own action. And from within that action, the recommendations correlate with some of the recommendations about concrete examples of whatever it may be. Is that kind of
Well, real estate matters. If there's no pages devoted to it, if there's not some specific mention, it will be overlooked. You have 100 recommendations and they're great. If 5 of them pull out inclusion, it's there, but it's not going to be dug into. So, for me, I would say inclusion's a great concept. Maybe there's a reference to other areas, and this is where Chair Elliott would be able to pull out an encyclopedia of potential areas for you to do. But I think that we could potentially get back to you with some ideas on referencing what it means or what
Fantastic.
in general, and some definitions. I'm going to put that on Chair Elliott since that's his specialty. He's not here. But I think doing that, and maybe, I know you did, I think you gave us access to that full document at some point, but
Yes.
if there's a chance to revise it or further questions, I think we remain very open to have a
Oh,
discussion.
very much so. Part of this outreach is to understand, I'm one person, I miss things. But I don't have the breadth of knowledge like the full commission does. And so if that can be provided to me as a starting point, and I can collaborate on like how that gets integrated, like you said, pages matter, how it's positioned in the document. Fantastic.
So you can start off with your list of questions, and then we can figure out the best way as a commission to provide hopefully some guidance that is helpful for you. I know you have 4 minutes to make it to wherever you're making. Is there any final questions to anybody here at this point? No, great. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank
You're
you
doing a
so
great
much.
job, and we look forward to more, 5 acres per 1,000 is great.
And I very much look forward to continuing collaboration. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So moving on to 3D, this is Chair Elliott's list, and I did my studying on these. And actually, point 5 is something that I found pretty interesting. So the first link on the Santa Monica Gov Disability Rights, it's just sort of an overall listing of rights in housing and public spaces. We've had a lot of discussion on housing, and it's ongoing. And as an aside, we did have a discussion with Commissioner Gordon, no relation. Chair Gordon, and so we'll see. We'll probably have some ongoing. I think we're going to try to get her in. That might be future scheduling. I'm off topic here, but on this it talks about equal access to housing and businesses, public accommodation, housing rules, pretty standard stuff. Illegal to deny rentals, delay or misrepresent availability. One question that came up in our last meeting was, what about having a separate area that represents I'm going to misspeak, title 8 or vouchers. Well, I'm not going to use that word, but I'm just saying that you're having your low rent separated. If that extends into those with disabilities, what does that mean? I don't know, but this is some links, reasonable, and then the whole concept of reasonable accommodations. It's not clear, but it is addressed there, and I think that's something that we all should do our own time studying a little bit. What does represent reasonable accommodation? I know there's been a discussion of if someone needs to be near an elevator in case of a fire or on a lower floor, what is the rights and obligations? What is the obligations of the building owner or management?
What I heard, that we don't have even fire trucks tall enough to reach like 10th floor of a building. So, I mean, the city keep discussing about building taller buildings here. But in case of emergency, there is like no solution even for like regular people. I'm not even saying about like no solution for people with disability. So it's kind of like really sad situation. So we have to look closer into it and kind of like see what change we can bring.
Thank you. Then the other one, there's I'll skip over number 2 there, which was the topic explainers. Number 3 was there's information on Medi-Cal and access to how to Medicaid, Medi-Cal, how to explains what it is, outlines eligibility rules, list of core benefits, applications, renew instructions. The next one in there, number 4, is 10 things to know about ADA. 1 in 4 Americans has a disability. Websites and accessible. A lot of what we've been talking about, but these are links. And then, for me, I looked at number 2, and this got my mind thinking. I compared number 2, and you probably haven't looked at it. Number 2 and number 5 here was what Santa Monica has in their websites. We often talk about that it's difficult to access information, in one standard place. So the topic explainer, accessibility in Santa Monica, was nice. It had a number of things on it, but it was informational. And I know Chair Elliott has referred to the boston.gov often, and take a look when you have some time, but they have, there's a disability data standard. That's fine. But I went up a level, and they actually had a page which was actionable. They had information. They had, what if you need a placard? What if you need a blue spot? And it got my mind thinking that, from what I know, the Santa Monica website is informational, but it's nice having things all together. So I would encourage you to take a look at what Boston is doing, and just maybe in your own time, and we'll talk about it from an ad hoc, of what Santa Monica is doing, a lot of great things, but what they could do better with having this. We've talked about the information. So I found that pretty interesting. If you have time, we can certainly put it on a future topic. All right. So consent calendar, we need to approve the meetings from August 13th. So please take a moment to review it if you have not, and then we'll do a motion to approve. All right, do I have a motion to approve the minutes from August 13th?
I move to approve.
I second.
All right. And a vote, all in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. It is approved. So, public input on the remaining agenda items. We have one person out there. Does she have any comments? I guess not. So if we don't have that, we move on to some staff administrative items. And let's see, discussion on possible action on completing the 25-26 annual work plan. So we need to get this going. I know we've talked about it every month. What is our actual deadline? Is it next month now because we haven't done anything?
It's the end of October, so it should be in the hands of the city clerk's office November 1st, but I believe October 30th to 31st is the deadline.
Okay, so we have one meeting between this and turning it in, correct?
We'd have to vote and approve it next meeting, yeah.
Okay. All right. Which we'll move to the ad hoc, and we'll actually have to, did we put an ad hoc group together for the work plan? I know we discussed it. I don't know if we actually raised our hands and did it. The group gets together and we're gonna review it and write it and present it, and hopefully we agree. So someone needs to do it. That's all. A group officially, an ad hoc of some sort. We'll do so. That's what I'm referring to here.
Yeah, we did it last year, but we didn't, as far as I remember, do it last month, or like create a new one last month.
Okay, so when we get to ad hoc, we'll let's talk about that and do that. Speaking of that, let's have some updates on commissions, liaisons, and discussions. And we'll start off with anything on AI opportunities and risks from Commissioner Antonini.
Yeah, I should have spoke Chair Elliott a bit. I'd assumed he would put the draft letter on the agenda, but he must have forgotten. So I'll make sure that it's on next month's agenda. He also added a couple of links, though. So I'll hopefully not put any words in his mouth, but I quickly went through them, so I can at least give a quick summary of them. So first one is this research paper about digital health, and it kind of makes a couple of policy recommendations around how AI and just digital access more generally can improve health outcomes for people with disabilities. And so one of their points is to just increase and standardize data collection, make sure that there are sort of consistent design principles in these sort of digital health spaces, so that that can help sort of increase accessibility across the board. And then some more shall we say prosaic kind of recommendations just around, like, if you actually want to do these kinds of things, you need to have funding to actually implement them. So that needs to be considered as well. The second link, I'm not exactly sure what, I don't want to put any words in Chair Elliott's mouth, but it seems to be a policy on AI for this app called Libby, which you can use, I guess, for like library access. I don't have much more to say about it than that, but if you want to check it out, you can click the link. And then there's these two other links, which are to the two organizations. The first is DAIR, DAIR, the Distributed AI Research something or other. So this is kind of a nonprofit, seems to be sort of unaffiliated with any, like standard like academic institutions. So it's kind of this distributed network of researchers who are researching AI and accessibility with AI. So they have a number of like research papers and projects on their website, so you can check that out. And then there is this other organization, AGL, which is the Algorithmic Justice League. So this seems to be more like of an advocacy organization versus DARE, which seems to be more research oriented. But the Algorithmic Justice League is more focused on identifying, calling out, sources of algorithmic bias and how that can impact people's lives. So yeah, if you have any interest in any of these, be sure to click the links and check them out. And yeah, next month, hopefully we can have the link to the draft on the agenda so we can discuss that in more detail.
Great, thank you, Commissioner Antonini. Commissioner Gordon, it's your housing time.
Thank you, Commissioner Antognini, for all the hard work putting that together. Computers are way over my head a little on AI, so it's just freaking me out. So thank you. I like that book, AI Hype. I'm hoping it's not quite as threatening as it sounds. But anyhow, yes, I went to the Housing Commission meeting, and there wasn't a quorum because I think Chair Gordon wasn't feeling well. I want to thank you guys. Thank you very much, you and Chair Elliott, for getting in touch with her. That was really cool. I was going to present this to the Housing Commission. I had made some extra copies. I have one copy short. I wanted to hand these out to you guys to pass them out so you can have a copy of it. One copy short, but I'd like to do that. I thought that it would be a good idea to pass these down.
Thomas, you will need a copy of this of some sort since it's being passed. I don't know what. Okay, yeah. So be sure to be sure.
About doing that. Do you want me to?
No, well, be sure to send one because this will then become, I guess, public record of sort. Correct? Yeah.
Go ahead, okay, and I can just give it to you. Because I handed these out. I don't want anybody to be short. I might be one short. Because the irony is that I can always make more copies. Okay. Just so you know, I was going to go to the Housing Commission meeting, then have a quorum, and I just so happened to bump into Mayor Negretti, and I didn't know that the meeting had been canceled. So it was interesting because then I walked all the way out and I bumped into Mayor Negretti, and that's why I went short, because I handed her one of these that you guys have, just to let her know, you know, they did, when I handed this to her, Chair Gordon, no, really, was talking about these sardine cans, and just so you know, they call this affordable housing, that a studio, which is 375 to 452 square feet with a rent of $23.64, your annual income must be at least $69,342.86. So that's what's considered affordable housing. So anyways, I handed one of these copies to the mayor, and she had said, quote, it's modern day redlining. That she was the lone, because I thanked her on being the lone dissenting vote as offsite affordable housing. She referred to that as modern day redlining. I know that you don't want, you know, and we shouldn't use that expression, but so that's what's going on. And I just wanted to thank her for that, because they have approved the demolishing Bergamot and putting 770 units there. So it's going to be even worse. I mean, because there's the three things that we talked about, and it being the land being deed restricted. There's market rate. There's affordable, if you can call this affordable, and then there's BMH, which is below market housing. I guess obviously they're going to be able to find some people that do that, but the market rate housing is going to be separate and apart with the offsite affordable housing, what they call affordable, which is this. So just to let you know about that, I have the articles at home, you know, because the Santa Monica Daily Press has been, yeah, that's right. The Santa Monica Daily Press has been really good about reporting on that. So I don't know what we can do to stop it. I know I've been going to the Landmark Commission. I haven't gone to ARB lately, but the Landmark Commission, we have put a stop to some things if we can find that we can get landmark status. I don't know if I can mention this. We talked on the phone. I don't know if that Chair Gordon and I talked about, they have the Hollywood Corporation wants to build some huge monolith. And I had mentioned that the presentation was at St. Anne's Church, I think, on 20th or something like that. And I'd mentioned to her when I was leaving the presentation there, and this is a long time ago, that I was walking by, there was a burger place that people used to go to all the time. They've been around forever, which is perfectly viable. They kicked them out. Well, right behind that burger place across from St. Anne's are a bunch of little bungalows. Those are slated for demolition. And so that's the only thing I could think of. I mean, bungalows could be, she said, could be considered landmark status. But the problem is you have to go in before the pending demolition permit's done and to argue for landmark status before. Because once they get that demolition permit, it's too late, according to the
Commissioner
city.
Gordon, when is the next meeting for the Housing Commission?
I don't know.
Okay.
Chair Gordon said she's going to be here, but she wasn't feeling well.
So I think we'll have a great opportunity to delve deeper in this. We're in discussions with Chair Gordon to either have us there, her here, we're not really sure, but I think at that point, it'll be a great opportunity hopefully have her here, so it'll be a great opportunity for the commission here to ask questions and find areas where we may be united in our general approaches or not. But I think that'll be the most appropriate time to dig deeper into this then. So thank you for the updates, but I think we should move on to the next topic.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Well, there was no meeting, and so you're reporting on the meeting, so there wasn't one, so.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think getting her here is really, we have a coordinated approach to having these discussions makes the most sense.
Yeah, and I want to thank you again and Chair Elliott too for,
Right. And we had a discussion also about just bringing up the idea that they have a list of, a list of priorities, and that their list of priorities may not include persons with disabilities, and they will at least take it up and consider it in their own time and fashion in terms of how, and I don't really know that area well, but it was a positive meeting. Moving.
the meeting that you had.
Yeah, just a phone call.
Yeah.
Wasn't an official meeting, just a call, a few people.
Cool.
So, moving on to ad hocs, I would like, I think we need to establish a ad hoc to take care of, everything's open, but I want to do two of them. A ad hoc for the working, what is it called? Working plan. Now I forgot the name.
The annual work plan.
The annual work plan. Anybody would like to lead it and or join it, and we can get a group together on it?
Yeah, I'd be happy to join. I guess one question is it possible to put someone on the ad hoc who's not present?
I did think about that, right? Well, we can add, I mean, if they're not on the ad hoc, they can join the meeting, and then they can officially, I mean, is there some
I don't think that they can.
official privilege granted by being on the ad hoc?
I believe that because he is the chair, Commissioner Elliott is presumed to be on that ad hoc.
I love that.
Okay, sounds
So,
great.
Maybe that's taking a leap of faith, but I think we can assume that he's going to help whoever agrees tonight to be on that.
Anybody else interested in the work plan? Sure. All right. Commissioner Clark, thank you for raising your hand. What the work plan does, it outlines the goals of it goes, what have we achieved? And then talks about what we, as a commission, wish to achieve in the following year. It's put together, it's brought up, it's discussed, and when we're comfortable, we vote on it, hand it to the city, and the city is supposed to do something with it. City council and respond at that point. Commissioner Royal,
Who will be on that?
do you want to be on it?
I'm kind of
If
like,
you ask the question,
I'm
that's.
kind of new, and I prefer to have somebody who can mentor me and explain.
Well, I
what
think
it-
you're gonna have two amazing people to mentor you, the man who's not
Sure,
here,
yeah,
and
I will.
all right, very
will
good.
join.
So that's good. Thank you for stepping up and working on the work plan. Do we have to create it? So a motion to create an ad hoc for the work plan. Is there someone who'd like to do a motion to create it?
And then I think also who is on it.
And do we have to create it and then see who's on it? Create it, an ad hoc to complete the upcoming work plan. Anyone have a motion to create it? Someone say yeah. All right, very good, Commissioner Saria. And a second on it?
I second.
All right, all in favor of an ad hoc to complete the work plan? Ayes?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. And then a motion to appoint, let's see, Commissioner Antonini, Commissioner Royal, Commissioner Clark, and in absence, our illustrious chair, Chair Elliott. Do I have a motion to appoint this group to represent us on the work plan?
I move.
Commissioner Gordon, and a second? Commissioner Adeyemi. Okay, so all in favor of this group representing us on the work plan, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, very good. I would like to start, because I would be interested in having us do an ad hoc to look at the website of Santa Monica and take a look at other best case scenarios that are out there around the country on what other cities are doing, and eventually put together a report that we'll do something with, but at least it would represent what we have been talking about since I've been here. We acknowledge that it can be improved. So I would like to have create an ad hoc on I don't know, anyone have an interesting name for me? Website review?
Quality assurance of Santa Monica website for disabilities.
Okay.
For people with disabilities.
Santa Monica website quality assurance review?
Yes.
How about Watchdog?
We'll use that one because that'll take up half the page when we write it down, so that'll be nice. So we'll go ahead and do that one.
Which one?
Santa Monica website quality assurance review ad hoc. Because
Oh, okay.
we're going to have to say that every week. It's going to be amazing. Every month, it's going to be amazing. So, a motion to create that. I would like to put forward a motion to create an ad hoc under that name. Do I have a second?
I second.
All right, Commissioner Azaria, thank you. So, who would like to raise their hands on that? I will gladly, since I brought it up, be there. Who would like to join me on this journey? Commissioner Royal, thank you. Wow, look at that, double timing today. All
I
right.
love to improve websites.
Yeah. Well, we got to do it. Anyone else?
I suppose I probably should.
No. Yeah, I mean, I will do a lot of the heavy lifting. It'd be great to have additional input. So I'm committed. I don't know. It's not going to be done overnight, but a process will begin and get going. Very good. Thank you, Commissioner. And?
Hi, John.
All right. Commissioner Adeyama, and that would be, anyone else want to join that?
I want to.
All right, Commissioner Azaria. All right, so I'd like to put a motion to be represented by myself, Vice Chair Rockville. Always weird to refer to yourself in third person. Commissioner Azaria, Commissioner Royal, Commissioner Antonini, Commissioner Adeyama. I'm never going to get your name correct, but Adeyemi, I know. Adeyemi. Yes, please correct me every time and I'll get it, okay? Don't, all right.
May I jump in and perhaps Commissioner Antonini, you served as chair for a while. Maybe you know more than I do. Is there a maximum amount of folks that can be on a subcommittee? I think.
Yeah,
is it
it's
four?
5.
It's 5. Okay.
Well, as I recall, I think it's just as long as you're not at quorum, you're
yes.
okay.
So we have to keep that at 5.
Are we good?
I think we're
We're
at
at-
6.
I thought it was-
Depends on whether our illustrious,
Yeah, this is excluding the chair, so Chair Elliott would not be able to join with 5 of us already on it.
okay, so he will not be joining that one. All right, so a motion to approve the members of the ad hoc committee. Anyone wish to put a motion to approve those members?
I move.
That's Commissioner Gordon. Thank you. A second?
Second.
Commissioner
Adeyemi.
Adeyemi. Thank you.
got it.
All right, all in favor, ayes?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nays? Nope. All right, in absence of nays, ad hoc is created. I'll take the lead on that one. And is there, while we're on the topic of ad hocs, is there anything else? Any other ad hocs or ideas that anyone has at this moment they wish to bring up? Yes, good, Commissioner Kazmi Dodge. Or was that an aye? I'm moving ahead too quickly. I forgot we have this, and I apologize for that. I think that was. Okay. We're good? All right, we're just getting you caught up on the closed caption there, and I definitely will take a little more time, so forgive me on that. All right, discussion on possible action on liaisons for Santa Monica boards and commissions. Is there anybody any commissions right now that anybody wishes to get greater involvement with? All right, hearing none.
You mean other? than
Just
what-
other than like the Parks and Rec or some other, if anyone wants to raise their hand at this point to have some greater involvement. There'll be ample opportunity in the future as well.
Okay.
All right. Future.
Excuse me.
Yeah, future agenda items. I'd like to bring one up because, I brought it up. I brought up the last meeting. I wanted to get an update on the parking, and you had said, Commissioner Antonini, that it was on the city council agenda for August, and I looked at the minutes. It didn't make it, and then I did download the new parking rates. And when the group was here, a lot of focus was on the beach and the 20-foot RVs and their parking. And then I see this, the beach zone, and basically the proposal goes from free to 50% of posted rate and 50% of posted rate. So it goes from free to 6 or 7.5, or free from 4 to 6, something like that. And that's a pretty substantial change. And I personally did not expect that outcome on our meeting. So I have some concern that I'd like have us revisit this if the city council has yet to vote on it, and potentially have a letter or something to them. I'm not sure. Commissioner Royal?
I think they not even pay attention what we kind of like oppose that meeting. So they keep kind of like pushing those increased fee for parking. And I think we need to bring attention to city council that like it's impossible.
Right. I mean,
You can increase for visitors, for example, for regular people, but not for people with placards. I mean, they arguing about those truck parked improperly. Those fees not gonna fix anything. It's just like they're making more problem for people with disability than they fixing the situation with those buses improperly parked at the beach side, etc., etc. So I mean, that's not a solution. So we have to kind of like bring attention.
So I think if we can we'll put that on next month's agenda, and hopefully the city council has not yet voted on it, and that we could, as a group, decide if we wish to send something to the city council expressing our opinion or not at that point.
Can we, I'm just gonna ask, can we probably create ad hoc regarding those parking? Because what they claimed last time that they cleaning junk car from city street, that's not true. I seen junk cars staying for years. And I can give them like specific location when I see the specific, like it's not operatable vehicle at all. It stays on the street for at least 7 years. So, but they saying like, oh, we kind of like doing parking enforcement, and can we raise those issues with like parking?
We can make an ad hoc on any area that we choose to, preferably areas that will then focus on the, our core area, which is disabilities, as opposed to a general concept of, abandoned cars.
No, what I'm saying, I mean, regarding parking, we have already kind of like discussed issue about increasing fees, abandoned vehicles, like people with disability cannot access accessible parking, like parking in a building where that like some tenants misusing placards and just holding spaces and not allow. It's common here. it's very common in Santa Monica when some people just like applying for placard and using that placard exceptionally for parking garage, that placard never leave the garage.
Yeah.
They operating other vehicle, and besides there's residents, they are not disabled, but they have that placard, and city can regulate that for sure.
This is about future agenda items, so we have sort of two approaches on this. I'd still go back and create an ad hoc if you wish to, and push that forward, or put parking and a deeper dive on the agenda for next month and have the discussion at the next meeting.
Let's discuss again, so, because there is some solutions for this. Also, I would like to mention that when tenants complain to city attorney office about those parking issues, they prefer to kind of like close cases, not even looking into it.
So
That's another issue. I'm just going to mention that organizations who kind of like taking those claims seriously won cases, and one of the biggest case about that violation of that parking regulation won $1 million. And the city of Santa Monica saying to people who complain about parking, like, oh, like that's kind of like small issue, city have to make money. Yeah, you're welcome, make money out of landlord for violations. I mean, it's kind of like really not right what's going on. So, I mean, let's discuss that.
So we have to balance a future with, there are issues that that are obviously highlighted here. So let's put that on next month's agenda so then we can officially talk about it. And if there's public input, anyone wishes to come in and have the conversation, then that'll be great to hear from the public at the time as well. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, I just want to,
Yes, definitely, I would like to see that. I'm very upset that they raised the placard fee by 50%. It's not going to make any difference to them, but it makes a huge difference.
Well,
to disability,
right.
people who are in wheelchairs. It's just ridiculous, unfair. I was annoyed when they came and presented it. I knew they were just going to do it anyway. They didn't care what we said.
So when I saw this, I first thought of you because you were passionate about it, understandably. So let's put it on the agenda and address it as necessary. And hopefully we can have some public input.
yeah. And those were the people that were here a few months ago, right? The parking people?
June perhaps?
Yeah, because I think we could see what we could do, have them back again, and the city attorney's office is kind of punting to them, and they kind of hold their feet to the fire a little bit. See if we could do that.
All right, very good. Any other future? We talked about the housing chair Gordon coming to visit at some point. Hopefully we'll do that. And I believe, Thomas, there's what's on the schedule? Is something for next month at this point?
Sure. So we have a note out to LAFLA to come in and talk about some discussion items that came up last meeting. So we're determining if they can come in October or November. They're
Okay.
going to get back to us about that. We hopefully have an introduction to Oliver G. to the commission.
Correct, yes. They
That's,
proposed some times that we should.
So we're working with his office to have him come and participate and meet you all and talk about top of mind items. And then we are working with the chief information officer to get him on the schedule as well to talk about the April 2026 deadline for the ADA compliance. So we're working on that along with the issues everyone raised tonight.
Great. Well, thank you. Is there any other future?
Yeah, I had a question about the ADA.
Your mic.
Yes, I don't know if it rises to the level of future agenda planning or if it's just a suggestion, but the ADA complaint for the Big Blue Bus is not an online form, but it is for the civil rights complaint. So I don't know why there's that discrepancy between the two. One of them is online form, one of them you have to download, print it, scan it back. And so I thought that for complaining and making an ADA complaint for the Big Blue Bus, it should just be changed so that it's online submittable. And I don't know if that rises to the level of agenda planning or if there's another avenue to make a suggestion of a change.
Perhaps that can fall within the ad hoc on just accessibility to information and action that, from a website or wherever, everything should be done. If there is a disabilities-related issue, it should be easy to get to, easy to make happen, and this would fall in there, so that's great. So noted as an area to look into.
Thank you.
Any other topics for this evening? All right, great. Thank you very much. We're adjourned until next month, and we'll follow up on all the ad hocs and get them going.